I'd like to call to order the June 28th, 2021 Redevelopment Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Mike Aurelio.
Here.
Brian Blazak.
Present.
Wayne Pondinas.
Present.
Gerald Swets.
Present.
Michael Schilling.
Here.
Chris Salatis.
Present.
We have Cindy Sue's present. Dave Westland.
Present.
And Beth Hernandez present.
Item number 3, approval of the minutes, June 23rd, 2021 meeting.
I will make a motion to approve the June 23rd meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Jerry Swets, a second by Mike Aurelio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Public comment? Any public comment for the Redevelopment Commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Item A under new business is consider change order number 2 for the 2020 Phase 2 geotechnical ground improvement project. It changes from $1,411,273 to $1,453,281.43, an increase of $43,952.63. Anybody have anything? Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 2 and authorize the town manager to sign.
I'll support that.
Motion by Brian Blazak, a second by Jerry Swets. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item number B, item B, resolution 2021-07-28, a resolution of the Redevelopment Commission establishing the policy by which members of the board may participate by electronic means of communication.
You want me to explain this?
Go ahead.
So you'll remember at our last meeting, we had the ordinance that established it for the boards and commissions of the town. This because the Redevelopment Commission is a separate body, separate municipal body by statute, it's an identical resolution so that as a Redevelopment Commission, you can hold meetings via Zoom under the same parameters we talked about it with the ordinance on a fairly limited basis once the governor's emergency order ends.
Dave, do you have any indication about the governor's office, what they might do?
No, the indication at the end of June was that there was a question of whether he would extend it into July. And I think with the news in the last 10 days,
That's what I'm concerned about.
Right.
I would question whether, I would think he's going to extend it again now, but that's just me guessing.
No, that's why I figured your opinion's as good as most.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's a guess. But I would think the emergency order is going to get extended. I mean, all the news is not
That's
great
what
right now.
That's what I figured.
I will make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-07-28.
Second.
Motion by Jerry Swets, second by Brian Blazak. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item letter C, consider the Economic Development Committee facade rebate program. This is through the EDC. They were given a budget of $10,000 to award to anybody that wanted to fix up their facade or signs along the 41 overlay district. I think you guys have that in front of you here.
So if they want to fix the front of their building up with
Front of
brick or
the-
something, they'll pay up to 10,000.
Well, they won't pay up. Well, they'll pay up to, but that's all they have.
Oh, well.
That's the whole fund. That's
Right.
not just one individual. I believe it might be limited to $2,000,
That was 2,500.
2,500.
I believe
Okay.
the original intent of the EDC was to limit each application to 2,500, but they did not specify within here that it would be capped at that, so there is a openness that they can, if they only receive one application in a year, they could fully fund it to the full 10,000. But I don't believe that's the intent of the EDC. I think they want to try and spread that money as far as possible. And there are some excluded items in that, so like engineering fees, architectural fees, those can't be covered as part of this. So this needs to go to basically physical assets, masonry, wood, windows, doors, lighting, signage, things of that nature. So that way the town's getting something physically attached to the building that improves it for its money. And there's several layers of review that this needs to go through, as you can see through the guidelines in front of you. Needs to be reviewed by the town manager, or in lieu of a town manager, the director of building and planning, and a member of the EDC, and then approved by the EDC. And I would believe that because of, with liaison town council, that the RDC would be made aware of that as well.
It looks like in the verbiage of this, I'm sorry, were you finished?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like in the verbiage that we're going to reimburse 100% of the approved cost. I thought the business owner was going to be required to invest in this as well.
So it's up to 100%, but it's the amount that will be funded is determined by the EDC board. That would be right in the very front paragraph. It's approved, listed on the facade grade application. Rebates will be determined by the Economic Development Committee based on, but not limited to, the merits of the project, availability of funds, and the number of rebate requests under consideration.
Yeah, so I'm the liaison to the EDC, so I think that at this point here, and you bring up a good one, they wanted I believe the intent is to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of 50%, but in case they had one a year in it, they wanted to give themselves some flexibility where they can adjust the circumstance. And they had debated that point back and forth and decided this was the best way forward.
Just depends on the number of applicants.
That's right, that's right. They didn't want to limit themselves.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I still like the idea of having the business owner invest something into this program rather than just get money from the town.
And that's definitely the intent, without a doubt.
Then I'm going to make a motion to defer this until it comes back. I think it needs to be defined a little bit clearer, and there needs to be some investment, I think, on the business owner's part. So that's my motion.
So, give them some direction.
Mm-hmm.
So you would like to see the business owners to the tune of, what percentage would you
I would
want to do 50-50?
No, I would say a minimum of 20%.
Minimum, you want a minimum.
I don't mind giving them some flexibility and some leeway, but I want some investment from the business owner. I don't want to just hand out money.
No doubt about it.
That's just my opinion.
Well, I'm gonna need a second on the motion if we're gonna.
To defer, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, or of deferring?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Do you have any reports? Would you like to report on the 96th Street?
Scott Cookta with Haas and Associates. Give a couple of brief updates on 96. So the change order 2 that you just approved basically closes the books on the first portion of the project, which was the ground improvement, turning 40 feet of Houghton muck into buildable subgrade for road construction. About half those costs were for extended instrumentation that the engineer, GEI, used to assess when the surcharge was satisfactory, that the ground underneath had been compacted enough that we could proceed with the road construction. And then the other half was just fill costs. There's 2 different items in the contract for that. There are some other miscellaneous items, but those are the lion's share of that change order there. It resolves all the final quantities with the acceptance of the pay application that's on the docket tonight. This contract will be paid out entirely for the construction work. There's still some retainage held, so the contract will not be closed, as of tonight, but we got to go through the final, making sure all the bonds and everything's tied up with a bow. But the construction work is completed for that, for Goff, for the surcharge ground improvement work. So the road construction has begun. The underground, Milestone is the contractor for that one, so we're on to the next contract now. Actually seeing the physical improvements that we all expected several years ago. So the underground storm sewer work is completed, or 99% complete. There's some castings missing and things like that, but we're tied in at Joliet. We're tied into Phase 1 West 96 into the detention basin that's constructed, so all the stormwater's up and running. There was a hydrant relocation. They've run the conduit for the electric. So all the underground's complete. Starting Monday, there'll be crews from Milestone out for the next several weeks doing all the grading, stone work, beginning demolition of the Joliet Street portion where 96 is going to tee in there for that new intersection. So Chris and I were just at our weekly coordination meeting with the contractor this afternoon, and you heard it along with me. Over the next 2 weeks, we should see a whole lot of activity out there in terms of building that road. So things are...
All the
things are
settling now
finally-
has stopped, right?
What's that?
All the settling has stopped.
Yeah, so that's the golf contract that is finished now. So anecdotally, observing the construction of the underground, it's quite impressive what that site looks like today versus, they excavated down something like 9 feet for those storm sewer structures, and it's hard to believe it's the same site that was out there 2 years ago. So the surcharge program definitely improved things.
So what's the time frame for completion? That's the big question.
Yeah, so it's looking like this month they'll have pavement down if all things go according to plan. We've got to put the curbs in as well as part of that. Final completion will likely not be till next month for including electrical and all the items. We have made it clear to the contractor that we are interested in getting traffic moving on that road as a top priority, even at the expense of, delaying sidewalk construction, putting up the light poles and whatnot. So the number one goal is to get that thing open to traffic as quickly as possible.
So you didn't answer my question. When is the light going to be on and up?
I'm sorry, the
time
light at
frame.
US 41?
Yeah.
That I don't have an answer to tonight. We need to coordinate with First Group Engineering. That's their project under the Reith Riley improvements for 41. I don't know if Chris has an update. I know you potentially spoke to Mr. Cobb this afternoon, but.
Yes, so I did speak with Denny Cobb today. He said about a day or two after the road is put in that the light should be going up.
And so what's the time frame? I'm sorry, when did you think the road would be connected and done?
He said
Or
this
open, I
month,
should say.
by the end of this month, approximately. So,
Okay.
construction can.
Don't you mean the end of August? I was gonna say,
I'm
don't
sorry.
put yourself, don't put yourself in a trick bag.
No, I'm sorry. Yes,
Friday?
I've already moved on. I've already
I
moved
was
on
gonna
from
say,
July.
boy, that's gonna be a quick road project.
So by the end of August, we should be connected and,
That would be great.
okay.
There'll be a number of things that'll be worked out in the coming weeks about how to direct traffic there safely, when we start directing traffic off of Joliet and 41. There's going to be a lot of ins and outs, and I'm happy to keep you all in the loop, and I'll probably be working directly through Chris on that to relay some of that information, but
Okay, good.
some things will be happening. And then we will be closing, as I mentioned, to demolition Joliet there. And we also have the closure of Joliet further to the east for the CCMG paving work ongoing. So hopefully we're going to overlap those. But there may be, Joliet's just a mess right now, as I'm sure everyone knows. But the light is at the end of the tunnel, so we're getting
Well, it
close
hasn't
there.
been any better, so it's improving.
Yeah, it looks a lot better already. So.
Scott, have you
Drop
talked to
off in the
Matt,
last 5 years?
or are you aware of when they're gonna have Joliet finished?
So for the CCMG, it's looking like if everything goes well by the end of next week, worst case the week after that. But the paving and milling and paving looks like it could happen next week if the excavation goes as smoothly as it's going for the balance of this week.
So with our fingers crossed, we may be able to get by the 15th of September.
The 15th of September.
That's 6 more weeks.
Yeah, well, for all of Joliet, including 96?
Well-
Yeah,
Right on through,
Yeah.
paved and all.
yeah, I think that's fair for a,
That's, I wanted to give you a little latitude. I didn't want to
yeah.
box you in.
Yep, yep.
Right before winter.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thanks for your work you've done out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Anybody on the board got anything?
Nope.
Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 7, payment of the bills.
I will make a motion to pay the docket in the amount of $205,622.84.
Second.
Motion by Jerry Swift, second by Brian Blazak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.